All right, welcome to the broadcast, or welcome to the replay if you're not watching this live. Hello, Maritza. My name's Dr. Joe McCullough, and today we're going to be talking about 5 brain facts that everyone should know, especially speakers, to make sure your message is more memorable. Let me turn the camera around and say a quick... Hey there, welcome to the scope. Today we are talking about the brain. 5 facts about the brain that all speakers should know to help make sure that your message gets remembered. Hello, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Joe. I'm the physics program chair at Cabrillo College. I'm also a speaker and best-selling author, but more importantly, I'm a learning expert. I've spent the last decade learning about the brain, how people learn, how we take in information, but more importantly, what causes us to remember certain things and forget others. So I'm going to give you today, hello, yo men. I don't have my reading glasses on. Let me try real quick. Hello. Okay, anyway, I have already given 3 tips. Today we're going to do tip number 4. Thank you for the purple hearts. And then tomorrow we'll do 1 more tip. What I'd like to do is quickly recap what I went through, and the first tip is a big one. So the very first thing you need to know about the brain as a speaker to make sure your message gets remembered is VAK memories are stored in different parts of the brain. VAK stands for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Those are the main ways that we take in information for learning. We have visual data, auditory, and kinesthetic. And as a speaker, what you need to know is that these memories are stored in different parts of the brain. So if you want to make sure your message sticks in their long-term memory, one of the keys is using modalities that take into account visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Let me give you 5 strategies for each. So we have visual strategies. 1, use flip charts and hang the flip charts around the room. Really great teaching method is to use flip charts. When you're done with the flip chart, hang it around the room. And a great way to review once you have 5 or 6 flip charts is get people together in groups and have them walk around. It's called a gallery walk. Walk around, spend a little bit of time in front of each flip chart. Hello, welcome people. We are talking about some visual, auditory, and kinesthetic strategies to make sure your message gets remembered. Second one, use color. Color code your content. Visual memory is our strongest, and one of the best things that you can do is make sure that you use color anytime you're writing on the flip chart. 3, use pictures, diagrams, and videos. If you're showing slides, you want text to be a minimum. Ideally, you want your slides to be mostly pictures and videos. 3, anchor content to specific props or specific locations. I love to use props. I've shown this before. Oh, I can't find my "that was easy" button. Let me go get it. I love to use a "that was easy" button.
That was easy.
Anytime my student asks a great question or we get done doing a hard problem.
That was easy.
I also showed this before. This is my recap. Anytime we're reviewing information, I put this on. Great thing to do is anchor content to a specific prop. And then also use visual language. Can you picture this? Imagine, things like that. In terms of auditory, I love the pictures on the wall. So at some point I'll talk about this. These are the 5 tenets of quantum learning, and it's really something that I've adopted as a teacher. So, and they all have hand motions, which I'll go through. Okay, auditory strategies. Use music. This is a big one. Any presentation you give should have music in it. 2, use callbacks. A callback is when you have people repeat something after me. So I might say, today in physics, we are going to learn about conservation of energy. What are we going to learn about? And I'll pause and the class has to say conservation of energy. Hey, Chrissy Love Coach. Hey, Gabby 88. Welcome. Also, you use vocal variations and purposeful pauses. Vocal variations just mean you're varying the tone of your voice. Sometimes you may be talking higher or lower. On a great one, purposeful pauses. Pause before you give a really important point so that people are hanging on your words and they can't wait to hear what you have to say. Hey there, Mark Middleton, welcome. A couple other ones is provide opportunities to review with a partner. I would say, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, every 15 or 20 minutes, you have to have your participants interacting with each other. They cannot pay attention for long. You need to make sure people are actively involved. And then last, create a song, chant, or rhyme for key content. I do this a lot in physics. If you can put something to music, it will stick. Real quick, think about how many songs you know by heart. For most people, it's hundreds, maybe even thousands. Think about how many of those songs that you actually tried to memorize by looking at the lyrics. Most people, things just tend to stick. Hey, Maritza. Okay, so kinesthetic strategies, we've got 5 also. 1, provide opportunities to learn by doing. Now, I don't know what everybody here is presenting about, but if you're a speaker, you want to give opportunities for students to learn by doing if possible. Could be role playing, it could be bouncing ideas back and forth, but get them involved. 2, get students moving. Think about having students move every 15 or 20 minutes. Could just be standing up or give somebody a high five or a knuckle bump or an elbow bump, something like that. 3, do standing reviews. If you're going to have people reviewing information or talking over it, have them stand up and do it. 4, create motions for key content. Motions help things stick. So kind of behind the wall, you see these, every one of these has a motion. So the first one is everything speaks. So everything is on purpose. I learned this from quantum learning, but every time I teach this, I do these same motions, and after a while, those motions just become part of what you're teaching, and they become anchored together. We also have lead students in a quick stretch. So think about if energy is getting low, have people stand up and move. Okay, let me just do a quick little recap. My name is Joe. What we're talking about is 5 facts about the brain and how you can use that information to make sure that whatever you're teaching gets stored in your students' long-term memory. I've gone through 1. First one is we store VAK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic information in different parts of the brain. So if you want your information to be stored and well remembered, you need to use different teaching modalities. 2, the brain can only pay attention for about 10 minutes before it loses focus. Now, it's hard to actually have an interaction every single 10 minutes, but ideally, I'm thinking about as a teacher, never teaching for more than 15 or 20 minutes without doing something to make sure my students get involved. So as a speaker, think about this. You want to plan brain breaks every 10 or 15 minutes, especially if you're just getting up and talking and not having students interacting. Every 10 or 15 minutes, think about doing some kind of brain break. It could be having students stand up and talk with each other, leading them in a quick stretch, and it could even just be give somebody a high five and tell them you're awesome. Okay, brain fact number 3. Our brains are trained to respond to novelty. This is from evolution. Things that stick out grab our attention because as cavemen, when we were in the Serengeti, if there was a saber-toothed tiger or something like that out of the corner of your eye, that's what caught your attention. So you want to make sure that you increase the amount of novelty in your presentations. Different ways of doing this. You can dress up in costume. You can use powerful videos. For me as a physics teacher, I've been starting to use magic. And when I show a magic trick, students have just their attention is completely there. And then once I have their attention, bam, I can drop in a knowledge bomb and make sure that they're really getting it. Okay, and the fact for today, brain fact number 4, is emotions play a huge, huge, huge role in learning or not learning something. Our emotions are basically Post-it notes. Anytime we have an emotion is like a Post-it note that tells our brain to pay attention. And learning and positive emotions go hand in hand. If you can increase the amount of positive feelings and emotion your students are feeling, that is going to make it much more memorable. On the flip side, anytime we feel anxiety, fear, stress, threat, self-doubt, those things literally shut down our prefrontal cortex. Learning is nearly impossible when we're feeling negative emotions. So the more positive emotions you can attach to your content, the more likely it's going to be for them to remember it. A couple ideas about brain fact number 4. 1, make learning joyful. You want your students to just come into the room and automatically feel like this is a place I want to be. They feel joyful, they feel happy, they're excited to be there. 2, tell personal stories that connect to your students, to your audience. There's something about stories that just draw people in. They get emotionally attached. Great thing to do is actually use stories to teach your content. 3, last thing, end on a high note. You want the last 5 or 10 minutes of your presentation, of your workshop, of your training to be just outstanding, so full of positive emotion that students walk out of there and they're excited and they can't wait to tell people. When that happens, dopamine gets released in the brain, and that's our happy drug, but it also aids in learning and memory. Okay. Hey, Akozi. So that was a real quick 4 brain facts that all speakers should know. For those of you who are just tuning in, if you swipe from left to right on an iPhone or straight up on an Android and follow me, you can catch the replay. And I'm scoping every single day for the next year. Today is day 21, 3 weeks, woohoo! And I'm sharing daily doses of dopamine through education, entertainment, and inspiration. My name is Joe. I'm the physics program chair at Cabrillo College, and I will be here tomorrow sharing brain fact number 5. And then after that, next week, I'm going to show some pretty awesome physics demos. Before I leave, are there any questions that I can answer regarding brain and how we can use that to increase memory for our students, for our participants? Going once, going twice, sold for no dollars. Thank you so much. My name is Joe, and I will catch you tomorrow.